So we have Merrill Chandler here today, you guys, as promised. So a little bit of background. I gave you a little bit over on the intro, but Merrill has a very successful book called
The New F Word.
The New F Word. And F word is not what you think it is. He talks about being fundable and business funding. And so I want to talk a little bit today about, what they do with their free shipping book shipping funnel. There we go. He's got the book. So let's jump into that, and we'll go to a couple different ways that you distribute this book that are pretty amazing. So the first is your free shipping book funnel. Tell us about that, because you have a bump on that makes it very worthwhile for them to do.
Yes. So it's free plus shipping. It's popular among direct marketing and internet marketing circles, where we will be at an event, or we will be in our boot camp, and we'll say, oh yeah, the deep dive on this section. I can't go into it right now, but go to getfundablebook.com and get your free copy of the book. And so when they fill out the information, they're paying for shipping. I think it's $8.77 for shipping. And so they pay for shipping. And then right after they hit submit, it takes them to a bonus bump. And for $37, there's 5 ebooks, each one of them worth the $37 alone, targeted on auto loan purchasing, mortgage purchasing. They get an audio version of the book that's an MP4, so they can listen to it, while they're working out or driving or otherwise. And all of those bonuses come in, and they just say, yeah, I'd like that bonus for $37 more. And so we make, I don't know, $3 to $4 per book just on shipping. That's more than I make in other places, if I direct publishing or otherwise. I make more money shipping it, but I do have to buy inventory. I do have to assign somebody to ship it out. So there are some downsides, but even with all those costs involved, I make money on the shipping. So the cost of the lead for them to put in their email and contact information, the cost of the lead, I profit by. So that's, many times, that's the first introduction they have to our organization. If they buy the bonus bump, and we're at 48% of our buyers by the next level. And so that level, we are wildly profitable because it's all electronic products. And so they get an email with the downloads. Here's your audio files. Here's your, here are your ebooks, etc. Right? And so we're currently working on a discount to our boot camp in the bonus bump. So by the way, if you include in this bonus bump is a whatever 10, 20% discount to our boot camp even. So that we're looking at ways to be able to split test and see what creates the most amount of draw, because our end game, the foundational brick of our business is our boot camp attendees, right? So that's how it works for us. And it's profitable right out of the gate, and 50% of the time wildly profitable after setup, right? After we set up the funnels, et cetera.
Exactly. And I do want to mention, you guys, it sounds like he does his a little bit differently. When we set up the free shipping book funnels, it's actually the wholesale price of the book plus shipping. So, and that shipping is standardized for everybody. So if you're shipping from California, it's $1. Well, maybe $3 now. If you're shipping from New York, it might be $6, but there's still profit in there. It just matters where you're shipping it to in that.
Excellent.
So it's not just a standard $4 shipping. Okay. So the next piece of this, and this is where I think you guys have such brilliance. When you go out and you speak, I've actually watched at Aaron Young's event, a room of about 100 people, and probably 95% of them buy your boot camp.
It's true. There's a high, once we create the value and show people what they're going to get, yes, there's a high conversion rate for our boot camp. And because we We sell it, or we announce that it's $97, which is a one-time viewing. But then once they get to the bootcamp registration page, they can get recordings and other bonuses again in a bonus bump for $197. And that by 6 to 1 is our highest. It's our most popular ticket price, event price is at $197. And then there's a $29 a month subscription where they get to meet with me in our tribe meetings twice a week. So I spend an hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and for $29 a month, plus they get, oh, by the way, including that 29, they can attend as many boot camps as they like. Right. For every month. So it's a $29, but they get to bring their fundability questions and lender questions and all that stuff to these Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it's an open forum, and we just take Q&A for the hour. And it's a ride. They're my favorite 2 hours of the week.
Okay. So from a marketing standpoint, here is the brilliance of what you guys do. From my perspective as a marketer, and I'm not nearly as good as Brad. Oh my God, I wish I was as good as Brad. I want to steal Brad, but I can't afford him. So what's brilliant about this is he's not going out from the stage and selling a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 program. He's selling something simple, $97, $197. And I've actually been in his program. Here's why this is brilliant when you do the $29 subscription. My experience was you put us in this Facebook group, you run the workshop, and people are blown away by the amount of fabulous content. Okay. So then what happened for me was, and I think another couple other people I talked to was, oh, I could do that myself. So then the following month it pops up, and I realized 30 days later, I haven't done crap.
I haven't done anything.
Like I haven't done a thing, but I want this business credit. So then I might take a couple, like, okay, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that, which I tried a few of your things and they worked. It was that instant gratification. They worked. Right. And then when you and I started working together, it was because I'd gotten to that point where I was like, I can't do this on my own. Like, this is super time consuming. And
like changing a transmission ultimately, right? Yeah. You would love to be able to do it on your own. The parts themselves cost, $150, but it's the know-how, it's the knowledge, it's that expertise that is highly valuable. And I encourage people, that's why we have the Funny Hackers twice a week. Bring your questions. I'll answer your questions to the degree that I can without getting under the hood and knowing every little thing that I need to know in order to give you that answer, right? I'm very generous with offers. So nobody feels like I'm holding something back. It's simply, oh, you want to know if to close that low value credit card? I can't tell you because there are 11 variables and I need to know every single one of them in relationship to your profile in order to give you an answer. That's why we have customized coaching solutions, right? But nobody feels like I'm just holding things back from them, right?
Exactly. But I think the real brilliance of it is you understand that you have a product that requires trust. There's a lot of knowledge, and you approach this from the standpoint of these baby steps that build trust to get people into those bigger programs. So I love the way you do that in that sense, because nobody feels like, oh, I just spent $4,000 and I didn't get anything. And I
don't know what I'm getting, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't trust you yet.
Exactly. Right? And here's I'm going to share with you guys, if you go into his program, I have to admit, I was probably the worst student. I showed up, and I will be transparent about something else. The first call I had, he looked over my work and said, how are you going to pay this debt? And I walked away feeling really bad. But for me, that's my motivator. Like, I got to do something. So that transparency was really good. But I would say, a minimal student, and I just got my first business credit card. So that is a testament to what you do, that I didn't have the bandwidth because we grew so fast during COVID, but just doing those principal things that I learned, I was able to take that first step. So, you know, you guys,
Congratulations.
remember,
Congratulations.
thank you. So remember that as you're doing it. I mean, I think that the business model is, if I recall correctly, you sold over 2,000 books before we even published your book.
Correct. We had a huge pre-sale that basically that's where we introduced the free plus shipping. Get your free book, and they pre-registered. And also we did a launch party. Remember, we'd already published the book, but we did a launch party for the digital product, right?
Yes.
And we had a whole bunch of people. I think we have over 50 reviews now. And so we did this launch party, and so we hit bestseller in 5 categories, and we even beat Dave Ramsey
Yes.
in his marketplace, and Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich for that period. So I was like, all right, I'll take it. Right.
Yeah. And you consistently, I'll also tell you guys, Merrill's goal has never been to be a big seller over on the platforms, but surprisingly, he consistently sells books every single month. And I have, since we have the extended distribution, I now get a market insights report, and he is never on it. That means that his sales are good, his metadata is good, and his social media is good. He's the only author I have. I have one other rock star who's like on the edge of dropping off that, but everything that they do keeps it off of those reports that say you could do more. And one of the keys on the report is 25 or more reviews. So that's really amazing that you guys, you know, you keep asking and you do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that is one thing that we do in the boot camp, or anybody. The cool thing is we can put things in our book because we're in charge of shipping, right? So we put in little specials, and we have. I'm going to grab it. It's cool. It's super cool. But we have a couple of toss-ins that say, "Thank you for getting the book." Let's see if we can get a focus on there. There we go.
There we go.
Help to shift the power to borrowers. It says, take a picture, tag Get Fundable, and we will send you a t-shirt. And the t-shirt is like the new favorite F word, or we send them a t-shirt. So we get to put this in the book, and we put in a $1 million bill. So that reminds them that our goal is $1 million in business lines of credit, right? Or up to. Some people don't need that much. But we get to remind them, hey, we want a relationship with you, and we're going to give you some swag if you just tell somebody, show them holding the book, you know, just like. And so our social, and maybe that's what the platforms are measuring, but we have these all the time where people are like, hey, I just got the book, love the book, or they're doing page turning boomerangs, right? It just opens and closes, opens and closes, opens and closes. So it's, yeah, we've got Brad's genius, and we stay in front of our tribe over and over and over.
Yes, they definitely do. So you have the t-shirt, you have the courses. And what else do you guys do to sell books? Because I know Brad's just got this great mind for getting things out there.
Well, the basis, the principle is know, like, trust. So how do we get them to know us? How do we get them to like us, right? So it's creative, it's fun, $1 million bills. You know, my personality inside of my personality in the boot camp, right? Or my personality in the book. They like us because I'm very vulnerable about my experience. I developed fundability optimization in prison. So the story is in the book about, and so get them to know you, like you, and then when you give them all this awesome stuff, our goal was to have some sort of to have them engage us at every trust level and every price point. So there's free, there's $8, there's $43, there's $97, there's $197. We're working on an interim one that's going to be $495 before we jump to coaching, right? Mm-hmm. So know, like, trust. And the trust piece comes when you give them operational intel that they implement and go, just like you. It worked. What just happened? This worked.
Yeah.
They must know what they're talking about. So I don't care if our sales cycle is a year or if it's a day, right? I don't know how long it takes them to trust us. But and then of course our social, we're always delivering free to on Get Fundable. The Facebook page is free content. We're always doing news updates. What are lenders happening? What's going on in the marketplace? So people can remote view for months or years. And then every once in a while, somebody will be like, yeah, I've been following you for years and I'm ready to go. And they'll go into coaching, know, like, trust. So you've got to develop relationships with them without expectation of return, right? And then give them a step ladder, just a step ladder. Because if you're in this to make, my philosophy is if you're in this to make money, you've got your bass backwards, you got the cart before the horse. Do you have a mission and a message? Get on point with your mission and your message, and then frame it so people will know, like, and trust you, then they will pay you.
Okay, I know this wasn't part of this episode, but this is so true because there are so many programs out there that focus on let's build your revenue, let's build your revenue, let's build your revenue. And then people are disappointed. They don't understand the pieces about you're visible, you talk to people, you're never in this world. A click is not a relationship. I don't know how many times I can tell my people that you actually have to talk to people without expectation of sale. And I do that on all of our calls. I put forth facts. You know, this is a comparison. I'm happy to read your contract from other publishers and tell you what's really in there, what's good, what's bad, and what's ugly. And I think that's what brings me a lot of business is I don't go into any call with that expectation. It's just how can I help today? So
Yeah,
and once
I
that mind
completely
shift,
agree.
once that mind shift flipped, because I started out with all these people that were like, you need digital and you need this and you need that. Once I said, I don't need any of that. It's me they're buying. All of that shifted. So you have to realize that it's you they're buying. And in the case of Mr. Chandler, I'm going to mention one of the unique things that just gave me such a chuckle. He actually spent a summer in the hammock at lunchtime in his backyard reading his book on Facebook, which was hilarious because you're like not Mr. Rogers. So
No, I literally single chapter and I read for free to my audience. So it didn't even cost anybody who wanted to watch those. I read the entire book online in a kind of Mondays with Merrill, or it was something like that years ago. Mondays with Merrill, and I literally read it, and it was dramatized. And then there were times in which, and if you listen to my audio, and it's not professionally done, well, it's done with my mic and I got a pretty nice setup here, but I would literally comment and like, guys, this is so important. What I'm going to read right now, this paragraph. So it isn't just me reading the book. It's literally me commenting on the nuances. I'm commenting on my own book, right? I did the same and that's what triggered the idea. How do we read this to the audience so that they're like, well, I want to copy this so I can study it, but what I heard out of 2 chapters was amazing. Let me buy it. So it's just, guys, you got to give. Cast your, what the good book says, cast your bread upon the waters and return 7-fold. This is no joke. No, get them to know, like, and trust you by serving them, giving them, solving their problems at every single step. Brad has a concept that he's learned from other giants, but he's the one who taught it to me, which is what is the next thing? What's the next thing they need? Not 14 things. Once you go to my boot camp, what's the next thing you need? Some sort of solution. And there were some holes in our that we could offer at a lower price point. So before they had to jump up to coaching. So we're giving everybody something that they can engage on, depending on their level of trust and their price point.
Mm-hmm. No, this is fantastic. Okay, Merrill, thank you so much. I think I'm actually going to make this into a podcast. I hadn't planned on it, but there you go. If you're listening right now, I made it into a podcast. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time with us today to share, because I think it's really important for people to understand the out of the box thinking that they can do with their book.
Awesome. Awesome. Good luck, everybody. Seriously. Julia is a superstar. I adore her, and she's served the program we went through with her was amazing, and it got me. She coached me on how to become a national bestseller. In fact, the new book, the new version of the book that I have says Amazon bestseller here at the top, and so we thank you to you, Juliet.
Well, thank you. You should have this thing. I beat Dave Ramsey. I was so shocked. So just for reference, before we go, how do we get, if people want to see what you're doing with all of this, how do they get to your workshop if they want to purchase it and go through it?
So the book is, so you can take screenshots of what we do, so you can duplicate it in your space, right? Getfundablebook.com, getfundablebook.com, and that's Fundable, getfundablebook.com, and getfundablebootcamp.com. Bootcamp, just read the reviews. As an entrepreneur, you're going to see people just like yourself who are just blown away at getting business lines of credit, establishing a business that's fundable. But those are the two big places that you can see how our magic happens, and then just to take screenshots of what we're doing. And there are, thank you, Juliet, for having me on.
You're welcome. All right. Have a great day.